Well, Mark, we'll start with the most recent news in the last 5 minutes. Richie Smallwood being named captain. Just your reaction and a bit behind that choice.
Well, I think it was an obvious choice. Clearly, throughout his career, he's been a man that's always taken on the leadership role at his clubs, and we've seen, and I've seen that in evidence in his short time at the club already. He just naturally gravitates to that role, and it was quite an easy decision, really. Obviously, I told him that I wanted him to be the captain. No issues with that. I didn't think for one moment there would be, and yeah, he's embraced it.
What to you makes a good captain?
Well, I think you've got to have a voice. Sometimes players within a group are a little bit reticent to speak up, but that's not an issue for Richie. He clearly sees from his own point of view and the players' point of view what he would like to see happen, and in terms of preparation, how we can get better. So that input is important. Clearly, I've got my own ideas on it, but I'm always open to good suggestions that can help the group as a whole. And he's got good knowledge of different levels and higher levels, which is what we want to ultimately get to, and having that exposure to the appropriate levels and behaviours allows him to be a guy that can lead us.
Yeah, does he, for you, especially with maybe some of the younger players, he's like the standard and the bar you want to set and for others to adhere to?
Well, there's different types of leadership. You can lead by shouting the ball in, or you can lead by example. I think Richie has got the actual balance well. He'll speak and dig people out when required, certainly within the team and when we're playing. But he's got a voice along with that. So yeah, he ticks a lot of boxes for the prerequisite of a captain.
And the lads have taken that well, bought into that.
Yeah, well, like I said, he just naturally migrates to that position, and that was even before he'd been told officially. He just takes on that responsibility and enjoys it, and that's the important thing. You've got to enjoy the role. You've got to be a big part of what we're trying to do and drive it from within to a certain level. So yeah, Richie's had good years of being able to fulfil that role, and we're lucky. Obviously, he's a guy that's captained other clubs at a good level, high level, and will benefit from that experience.
On pre-season, some wins, some defeats. What have you and the group learned from the last few weeks?
Well, I wouldn't read too much in. We've had good periods in some games, less good in other games, but that's pre-season. You don't prepare for the games beforehand like you would do for a league game. You don't have the right information really in terms of your opposition and how they're going to obviously line up against you. So it's a little bit hit and miss, and you're flying by the seat of your pants to a certain extent in pre-season. They can go either way, as we've seen. So really it's about making sure we're fit physically and mentally. We understand the challenge ahead of us, and I think we're in a good place. We've had a good week this week, and we're really we want to get off and get on with the work in hand, really.
We've spoken about recruitment, of course, across the summer, but how key has it been that the players have come in so early? You know, I think Verdane and Brad came in on the 10th of July, but other than that, everyone was here on that first day of pre-season. How key has that been to yours and Glyn's preparation?
Well, we'll soon find out. We think it's an advantage. I can understand why other clubs have kept their powder a little bit dry. There's value in that thinking as well, but we've still got opportunities if we feel we need to go in the market to do other things as well. So we've still got that option, but I just thought it was important that we got as many players in the building as soon as possible. We've been able to do that. I've said many times we're probably ahead of where we thought we would be. So yeah, we've had the vast majority of the group together for a number of weeks now, so that's got to be an advantage.
Well, Richie said it felt like they've been together for at least 3 months, not 6 weeks. Is that reciprocated with yourself?
Yeah, it feels. That's why I said it's time we're ready to go. We're desperate to start now. It does seem, and it's not that many weeks or days really, but actually the amount of work that you try and cram in is it's quite intense, so I can understand why Richie feels it's a bit longer than the actual time it is. But it's work that needs to be done, and they've taken everything on board. I've said before, they're very coachable, and they take on information readily, and let's hope some of it sticks.
And then the club still exploring other options, maybe in particular the loan market as well?
Well, possibly, and we'll see. We're not a million miles away from the squad we're going to go in with for the vast majority of the season. So if we don't bring anybody in at this point, I'd still be quite comfortable with the group that I've got.
And outgoings, is there any movement there? Maybe
yeah,
some of the younger lads?
There will be, I think. It's quite difficult. I think people are just keeping their cards close to their chest and maybe waiting for so-called big boys to come back from their world tours and start releasing younger players that they've used just for a couple of weeks while they're away, and then you start getting the churn again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, we're quite happy where we are.
On to Saturday, it's going to be some occasion. Over 18,000 tickets sold. I remember when you first joined and you said you'd missed that match day buzz. How do you see the first day of the season and the occasion that surrounds the first day of the season?
Well, that's part of it. Obviously, it's the first game of the season. That's always an important landmark in any season. You want to get off to a good start, obviously, but we're obviously going to be backed by a huge crowd, and we want that to be the norm. Week in, week out, we want people wanting to come and see us play and hopefully see us win. That's our intention, and I think if we do that, if we have a good home form this year, which we struggled to do last year, that'll be a huge change and a huge positive for us if we can rediscover good home form, and with the help and the advantage we've got, we should never see it as a negative. Having the backing that we have is massive. We've got to obviously try and intimidate opposition teams when they turn up in their bus at the beginning of or an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game. They've got to think, goodness me, we're in for a real struggle today, because we're up against not only a very good team playing well, but a huge crowd that will back everything that we do. So if we can get it going, there's no reason why we can't. That's our intention. We're going to be in good shape.
And do you feel this crop of players that we have in front of us now are the right crop of players to embrace Valley Parade, not shy away from a ground like Valley Parade?
Yeah. Just talking within the group, there's an anticipation of what's ahead for us, and there's no apprehension. I don't sense any apprehension whatsoever. There's a real excitement about what's ahead, and we can't wait to get going and grasp that.
I imagine you can do this, but how much do you have to instill in the players that, yes, the occasion's going to be brilliant, the fans are going to be really excited, but at the end of the day, you've got to go out and try and win a game of football? Yeah, but I don't like reverting to my story. It's a long time ago, so nobody remembers it really. But I always felt the bigger the game, the better I played, only because that was maybe just me. I just got excited and really enthused by the thought of performing in front of a good crowd, a demanding crowd, but a crowd that would back you if you're doing the right things and trying to do the right things. And we've got a crowd like that. Our fans just want to see good football and effort and determination from their side. And I think I've got a group of players that will be able to show that. On Doncaster, just come down from League One, how different is it for the first game of the season, yours and Glyn's preparation, compared to when we're maybe 23 games in, and what have you managed to make from them?
Well, you haven't got the benefit of having watched the opposition for any number of games. Usually we would like to see at least 2-3 away fixtures and a couple of home ones, just to get an idea in terms of the trend, in terms of how they like to start games, how they like to change within the game, within the 90 minutes. Set plays, obviously, you have a better idea of it over a longer period. So it's a little bit of an unknown in terms of which way they're thinking they're going to go, in terms of obviously structure of the team and personnel. We haven't got the benefit of seeing the trends in terms of their selection, but same case can be said of ourselves in relation to them. So I think clearly at the weekend it's about who grasps the game, who dictates to the opposition, and who takes their chances when they arise, and we intend it to be us.
And just team news wise, but missing Alex Gilliard, Timmy Odesina, just to name but a few over pre-season. How are they getting on, and are they likely to be involved?
Yeah, we've got quite a big group. Obviously, we've got the likes of Gilly starting training with the group, just dipping them in, dipping them out. Hendo has been training for pretty much a week now, so he's not quite, clearly not match fit, but he's back with the group. So we've got a really big group. I think we had 26 this morning, so it shows that we're in good heart, and we had a couple of youngsters up obviously to pad that number out, but no, we're getting people back, and yeah, I'm going to have a lot of options, and it's up to me to pick the right ones.
How's Abbo getting along? I know about 10 days ago you said 2-3 weeks for Abbo. Is he all okay? Is he on track?
Yeah, well, he's been out 3 weeks now. It's still going to be a big chunk of time, unfortunately, for Abbo, but he's progressing well. That's what we're pleased about, and he'll come back when he's ready. It's important that he's sound when he comes back this time.
Thanks for your time.
So then, Mark, obviously we talk about the importance of the home form and how you can use that. I mean, is it a sort of almost like a snowball thing? You know, if you can get that first result, put it down, and then suddenly everyone says, yeah, we did well last time, we can go on the next game, and it sort of builds from that. Yeah,
I think so. I think the first game is an indicator of where we were likely to be. It won't be in stone. Obviously, a lot of things will shape our performances and our results over the course of the whole season, but as an indicator in terms of where we want to be and what we want to try and produce on a regular basis, the first home game is an opportunity to do that, obviously. We just want to go and make sure that we don't let ourselves down or anybody else. I think we're genuinely excited by what's ahead of us. That's the overwhelming emotion I'm sensing from the group, and I just think that excitement that you get from starting a new season, everybody to a certain extent hopes for the same thing, which is to have a really good season and really have the opportunity to enjoy it. And it doesn't matter what your ambitions are, you still start off with the same amount of points, and you still have that view that we've got a real opportunity here. So we're exactly the same as everybody else in that regard. So we just want to progress in the season and make sure that we're in good shape when it all matters towards the end.
Obviously, having a game against a team straight out of League One, it's probably the sort of fixture you want game one in it, because you know that you want the bar to be set high in terms of performances. You know the opposition, they're a good opposition, so there's no sort of danger of anyone perhaps sort of thinking we're being.
No, we want to underestimate Doncaster at any point. They're a very good team, got a good setup there and good players, and been playing at a higher level, so we've got to respect that, and we will do. But sometimes the best way to respect people is to really cause them a problem and make it uncomfortable for them on the day. They've maybe, you don't know until they won't know really until they start playing, whether they've got any scars from the relegation that they've just gone through, and if they have, we need to exploit them.
And obviously, also talking about sort of scars, I mean, a lot of these supporters have had season tickets for several seasons, and they've had disappointment in that time. I mean, they want to believe, they want a great season, but it's also presumably sort of giving them some proof, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure many previous managers have come out with the same lines that I'm coming out with now. I think that maybe the difference now is that there's a real sense that maybe we've put the blocks in place to enable us to be more secure in terms of our thinking in regards to having good seasons or performing at the right level over a more consistent period. I think people have got comfort from that. I think they've looked at our business in the summer, and they've looked how we finished last year, and hopefully how we're going to start this year. I think that's why there's a level of excitement that is maybe more justified than maybe in the past.
I think there was a confidence within supporters which sort of literally has been put down from the moment Jamie Walker signed, because I think a lot of people towards the end of last season were sort of thinking, he'll probably get other offers. It seemed a very 50-50 situation. I think the fact that he was he sort of committed straight away. It was a good statement of intent.
Yeah, we said at the time that it was important that the message was going to be about us trying to get better quickly if we can, so that next year, back to my buzzword, momentum, it was all about gaining that, and Jamie signing when he did that just added to the momentum we had at that point, so it's carried on. We like to think during the summer and right through the other players we've been able to bring to the club, and it's up to us now to keep that momentum going on the pitch itself.
I was going to ask you about the referee. Obviously, Bobby Madden this weekend, former Scottish, very experienced Scottish referee. He's obviously refereed big occasions, Glasgow derbies, Scottish Cup finals, and what have you. I mean,
that's why he's picked our game. That's why he's got our game, for goodness sake. Yeah.
Interesting first game though for him.
Yeah. No, it's great that he sees his future at this level. Maybe he wants to change the scene. I'm not sure what the circumstances are, and why he's now in the football pyramid down here. But maybe he wants to progress, try and get up to the top level, like he was in Scotland. So I'm sure he'll have a good game.
And in terms of you've got an experienced referee this week, but I mean, in terms of players, obviously got to handle the occasion. Obviously, over the season, some of the lower league referees, a lot of them are quite new to the league.
What's it about referees? No, it's a difficult job. It's not easy, and every year they get given new directives and new things to clamp down on and go easier on. And we've had the referees in and obviously gone through their thoughts in terms of the new season, which we do every year. So it's not easy, but they always do the job with the best intentions. So we have to respect that.
I think one of the big clampdowns this season is on time wasting, which presumably, at somewhere like Valley Parade, you'll welcome that situation. Some of the teams who might try and
if we're behind, God forbid, in the game at home and teams are trying to block us out, all the dark arts come out. So there was a mention of them trying to address that. So we'll see how long that lasts.
And slightly separately away from it, can I ask about Rhys Staunton? Apparently he sort of had a trial game at Halifax last weekend.
Yeah, Rhys is one that we're looking to place and try and get some game time initially. Obviously with the strength of the squad at the moment, he's going to struggle for game time, so we still want him to continue to develop his game. So that means obviously having the benefit of training at times with us, but having that focus to his work at the end of the week, which is obviously playing. And in the initial few weeks or months, the likelihood is that he's not going to get enough game time. So there's Rhys and a number of others guys that we're trying to place to make sure they keep developing.
And presumably if you can place some of these younger lads, perhaps at some of the National League level, I mean, it's a good league, it's a good grounding. It's in fairness, they need to be open to any opportunity. So you might be elsewhere, it might be up north, or it might be across the water. You don't know where these opportunities present themselves, but it's about looking at those opportunities and seeing how it would help them in terms of their development, and they've got to be open to that.